everyone, as promised I am bringing you another pumpkin based recipe, and today I'm going to show you how to do my moist pumpkin bread and moist pumpkin muffins. It's the same recipe but we're just cooking them in different pans. So I've got loads of things going on in the background. I don't know if you can see, I've got bread rising to make my hedgehog rolls to go with our pumpkin soup. The pumpkin soup is bubbling away on the stove, and I've now got my pumpkin puree made, and I'm going to show you how to make that ready for this recipe. And yeah, let's get started. So first of all, you need to make your pumpkin puree. Now, if we were in America, we could just go to the supermarket and buy a tin of pumpkin puree. But because we are in Great Britain, we cannot get it. If you can get it, it is very, very expensive. But because we have got so many pumpkins in the shops at the moment and we're busy carving them, we're going to use that flesh and we are going to cook it up to make a puree ready to go into these lovely moist pumpkin cakes. Now, as I said in my other recipe, we've got loads of little ones here, which I got from Aldi and my daughter picked from the lovely Pick Your Own Pumpkin farm up the road. And I will show you how to do that because we need to get that pumpkin puree first. So I filmed that a little bit earlier actually, so I could get the pumpkin puree ready here. So with a little bit of magic, I'm going to show you how it's done now. So now that we've got all of our ingredients and we've got our cooled, lovely pumpkin puree here, let's get started. In my bowl here, I have got my flour. I'm going to add to that my sugar. We're adding all of our dry ingredients to this. And I'm going to add my bicarbonate of soda and my salt. And the favourite bit of this is my lovely spices. We've got some ginger, we've got some cinnamon, we've got some cloves and nutmeg. And it just smells so Christmassy. I actually make this bread to pop in my hampers at Christmas time, hampers that I sort of take round to all my friends and that. So you can actually make this recipe up and pop it into the freezer. It freezes really, really well. So we're going to mix all that up. That's all our dry ingredients in there. And we are going to make a little well, but we're going to pop that one aside, that bowl there. I'm going to bring in my pumpkin puree bowl. Now into that pumpkin puree, we are going to add our oil. So we're going to tip all our oil in there and we're going to give that a little mix. Now be careful because we don't want it to slop everywhere, but we're going to mix all that up. There we go. It does look as if it's curdling a bit, but keep mixing it. There we go. Now to that we're going to add our eggs. Pop our eggs in and give that a little mix like that. Oh, little mix. Feel a song coming on. There we go. That is all lovely and combined. And then last of all, we're going to put our water in there. It does seem very liquidy, doesn't it? But that's what gives the cake the lovely moistness, that lovely pumpkin flavour. We're going to tip all of that into our well, into our flour. So let's scrape all that off. We don't want to leave any of that lovely pumpkin puree behind. Now let me just get rid of all of these dishes. There we go, pop that there. Now we are going to gently stir all this together. There we go. As I said, this is a recipe I use at Christmas time and it is absolutely lovely. And when you make it in the loaf tin, it's usually a little bit better a couple of days on. And sometimes if we've got any left in our house, we actually toast a little bit of it and pop a little bit of butter on. It's a bit naughty, isn't it? But it is delicious. But look at this lovely mixture. And that is us practically done. Now, as I said, this batch here is going to make our lovely pumpkin loaf. and then we're going to make some muffins. So we are going to put some of this, we've just got to make sure that all those pockets of flour are combined in. I can see some bits of flour at the bottom. Let's mix that in. What we're going to do is get a loaf tin. Now, if you haven't got a loaf tin, don't worry, you can use an ordinary round sandwich tin, but try and make it a sort of thick one, or a deep one, should I say. I've got my loaf tin here, and I've popped a liner in. You can put baking parchment in if you want to. So, we need to now, oh dear, we're going to tip some of this mixture in, and we're going to do it to about 2/3 full. So let's have a go at that. Can you see what I'm doing? Ooh, oh my goodness, it smells delicious. Oops, try and stop it now without spilling it everywhere. Super-de-duper. Let's get all of that off the side and pop it in. So that is for my pumpkin loaf. So I'm going to put that to one side because they're going to go in the oven together. And here I've got my muffin tins all lined, but what I want to do with these is to add some raisins and cranberries, or you can add whatever fruit you want. Now, I've got these raisins and cranberry mix from Aldi, and they're delicious, and I actually use these quite a lot and pop these in Christmas cakes, tea loaves, lots and lots of recipes. So I have just got, well, I've got a handful. I might put a few more in actually. And we're just going to sprinkle them onto that mixture now. And we're going to give it a stir. Okay, I am going to put a few more in. It's up to you how many you put in. I'm going to put another handful in. Pop those in there. And then we are going to pop them into our muffin trays. Now, I use an ice cream scoop so that they're all exactly the same size when they're cooked. So we're just going to dollop these in. Whoops. The mixture is quite runny, so don't worry about that, but it will cook beautifully, and as I said, will be lovely and moist. And again, these are something that you could pop into the freezer and maybe have, oh, Christmas morning. Wouldn't they be lovely? Pop them in the freezer so you can make them in advance. The pumpkin puree as well, you can pop that in the freezer after you've made it and use it for all sorts of recipes. Pumpkin pie is another one. I might pop the recipe up for that as well. But these two recipes here are so delicious and so simple for you. And we don't want to waste all that lovely flesh, do we, in our pumpkins when we've carved it. Why not use it and eat it because of all the lovely vitamins that pumpkins hold. So we're going to pop these in there now, and I've actually got loads more mixture here that we could actually make another little cake. So if this is too much for you, just halve the recipe, okay, and then you'll still have enough to do a few muffins and a cake as well. So I'm going to go and pop these in the oven, and we'll be back. We're going to check on them in about 25 minutes because they are so moist. They are going to take a little bit longer to cook. So we're going to check on them in about 25 minutes. Pop your finger on them to see if they're springing back. If they're not springing back, leave them in just for a little bit longer. And I'll see you again in a minute. So everything's come out of the oven now. First thing that came out after about 20 minutes was my moist pumpkin and raisin muffins. Absolutely gorgeous. I'm going to break one of those open for you in a minute. Then after about 30 minutes came out my mini tray bake. That was with the rest of the mixture that was left in the bowl. I had a small little baking tin, so I popped that in there, so a little tray bake. And then after about 45 minutes, out came my loaf, my pumpkin loaf, and this is delicious, just sliced up or with a little bit of butter on after a couple of days. It really is delicious. But I want to get one of my muffins now, and we're going to break it in half so you can see what it's like. Look at this. Let's break it that way. Look at that. It's absolutely delicious, but look at the colour as well. So these are absolutely delicious. So have a go at making them and put whatever fruit you want to in there. Sultanas, raisins, carrots, cranberries, whatever you want. As I said, mine was raisins and cranberries. But have a go at a couple of these pumpkin recipes. Was my pumpkin soup yesterday and my muffins today. I am going to post a few more recipes as well, because I've got a fabulous pumpkin pie recipe. We can use up all that lovely flesh that's inside those pumpkins that you're carving at the moment. Okay, so until next time, don't forget, look out for Bad Witch Hazel, although she's not bad anymore, is she? Look out for her. She's going to be around over the next couple of days reading pumpkin soup, and I might see if I can find another story for her to read. So I'll see you all at school next week. Take care. Bye.